So today I'm going to lead you through a nice little gentle floor-based sequence for releasing the hips, finding a little bit of stretching and mobility in the hips. So we're going to start seated, so you can either start with your legs in a nice cross-leg position if you find that more comfortable, or I quite like drawing one heel into the groin and then the other heel in front. And you might want to pop either a little block underneath your bottom, a little cushion or a rolled up blanket, and you can just pop that underneath your sit bones. So that will lift you up a little bit and it will help to open up the hips a little bit at the front and hopefully make it more comfortable on your knees. So we'll start nice and pulled up through the spine, lifted through the heart, lifted through the crown of the head. Just take one nice big shoulder roll up to the ears and slide them back down your back. So you have that lovely long neck as well. So we're going to take an in-breath where we lift the heart just a little bit. Inhale, lift the heart, feel the belly stretching, lift the chin, and then exhale, chin towards the chest, slightly rock back onto your sit bones and arch into the spine. So a seated cat stretch. Inhale, heart coming forwards. Seated cow, lift the chin. Exhale, rock back a little bit. And let the back round, let the back arch. Inhale, just 3 more times. So we're just starting to bring a little bit of mobility into the spine, but also we're moving through the pelvis here. Breathing out. Inhale. So closing the hip joints here. And exhale, opening the front of the hips as we rock back. So when you've done this last one, let's come back into the center and we're going to start to circle. So we're starting really gently, just starting to mobilize through the body. So think of bringing your ribs forwards to the side and then back and then to the other side. Keep the arms and the shoulders really relaxed. So again, we're mobilizing the spine, but we've got lots of movement going on in the hip joints, in the hip sockets. So you're very welcome to close your eyes, just start to settle into your body, use your breath. Find that lovely circular motion through the body. And then let's reverse that. So switching it up, back around in the other direction. Last circle. And we'll come back into the center. Brilliant. So we're going to place the soles of the feet together. So if you're quite comfortable on your block, feel free to stay on there, or your little cushion, or take it away if you don't need it. And then we'll place the soles of the feet together. And if you find that your knees are quite high up here, try giving yourself a little bit more space. So maybe bring your feet forwards so you create more of a diamond shape. And if you feel that your knees are uncomfortable here, you can use a couple of blocks or a little cushion, just pop that underneath the knees to give your knees a little bit of support. So very welcome to do that. And if you're quite comfortable, maybe draw your heels in a little bit closer here. So we're really up tall on the sit bones, right up on the sit bones, so we're not slumped back. Let's take a breath in where we lift the chest and then use your hands just to gently ease yourself forwards as we exhale, keeping a nice flat back. And you'll get to a point where you might feel a little bit stuck, like you can't go any further. And then if you like, keep your hands here or maybe place your hands onto the ground in front of you. Inhale, and then as you exhale, just let your back relax a little bit. So upper back relaxing, chin coming in a touch. Pausing there, maybe closing the eyes and just starting to find your breath. And a useful breath to use to relax more into a posture and relax your muscles and the tendons and ligaments around the muscle, around the hips, around the joints, is just slightly lengthening your out breath. So inhale and then exhale, exhale a little bit further. Allow gravity to pull you down to the ground. Inhale, and then that nice long exhalation, sending messages to the body to relax and to soften, to let go. 2 more breaths. Some of you might even be more comfortable with the hands on your elbows, hands on your feet, and gently pressing the elbows down into the legs if that feels good. We will all be in slightly different places. Just finishing that last breath. And then we'll roll up in the centre. We're going to come back into our cross-leg position. See if you can place your right foot in front. So you can either choose a cross-leg position like this, or keep your left foot underneath and then pop your right ankle onto your calf with the foot flexed. Or if you've got the flexibility in your hips, bring that foot up onto the thigh. And then see if you can almost get your shins quite level. So you're making like a little box shape with your legs there. Both buttocks down. And then from here, we're just going to place the fingertips onto the ground. Left arm lifting, inhale. Exhale into a little side bend. Trying to keep that left buttock on the ground. Inhale, lift through the middle. Exhale, side bend. So bend into that left elbow. Feel the right side of the waist opening into the top of the hip. Inhale, lifting. And exhale. One more time. Breath in. And breath out. Lovely. We'll come back up into the middle. Inhale. And then turn round to the right side, bringing the left hand to the outside of the knee. The right fingertips just behind you on the ground. Turn your head gently and twist. Checking we're not sitting back into the back hand, so we're using the hand to prop us up and forwards. Come back into the centre, inhale, lift the arms. So lengthen through your body, exhale, floating the arms down, just finding the ground ahead of you, and then take a walk forwards. So you might come just a little way. Keep both sit bones really grounded. So I can certainly feel quite a deep stretch through the back of the glute, through those deep glute muscles. A little bit of a hip stretch through the front here as well. And then if you have the flexibility, maybe just walk your hands a little bit further forward. You might even come onto your forearms. Don't worry if you don't. Shoulders relaxing, shoulders dropping away from the ears. 3 more breaths. Let's walk back up, stacking the spine slowly. Well done. We're just going to switch legs. So this time you're going to have your left leg in front. So some of you might just come into a cross leg position. It always feels weird if it's on your other leg. So you might just be in this sort of position here, or you might have your right foot crossed underneath a little bit more, your left foot on the top of your calf, or maybe on top of your thigh, and then bring your right foot forwards a little bit. So we've basically stacked the legs. Okay, both buttocks down. Let's place the fingertips down by the side of the body. Lovely long body. Inhale through the right side and exhale over to the left. Sit bones drawing down through the right side. Inhale, lifting. Have a little feeling of drawing your shoulder blades together at the back as well, so we're not slumping forwards, really opening the chest. Inhale, lifting. And by doing this sort of movement, we just forget about the hips for a minute. We're focusing on the upper half of the body, breathing in, opening the waist. Inhale, both arms up in the centre. Let's turn to the left. Exhale, right hand just to the outside of your knee. Pop your left hand behind you. Sit really tall there. So imagine you've got a pole running straight through your body, so you can't lean back. You've got to stay nice and upright. Unraveling, coming back to the front. Inhale, lift. Exhale, float the hands down. So we're finding the floor ahead of us now. Maybe you're pausing here today. That might be enough. Or maybe you want to walk forwards a little bit. Maybe just staying there. Try not to round the back too much. So try and keep a nice long belly, heart coming forwards. And some of you might pop down onto your forearms. So wherever feels good. Let's take 5 breaths. Can use that slightly longer exhalation if you want to, sending softness into the hips and into the buttocks. So we're feeling this more on the left side. Always keep that top foot flexed, so that will help to keep that knee in good alignment, should help to keep it safe. 2 more breaths. Well done, let's work ourselves up. Brilliant. So we're going to straighten out the legs, just give the knees a little wobble out. And then you're going to tuck your right foot in and send your left leg round behind you. So we've got the right foot just near the left thigh. We're going to place the right hand just behind us, reach the left hand over the top, starting to twist the body and letting the left buttock lift. We're going to look down to the bottom hand and reach the left hand to the back corner. So you can stay there, you'll get a little stretching through here, through the hip flexion into the waist, or you can push down into the hand, lift the hips, draw the hips forwards as we squeeze the bottom, and then reach a little bit further. Eye gaze down, nice soft neck, underneath elbows soft. Stretching through that left hip flexor, and when you're ready, slowly lowering, just sweep the hand across your face. Let's do that on the other side. So sit back, swing those legs around. Left hand behind you this time. So lower version, lift the hip, try not to clench that buttock, like cramp up. So just gently draw the hip round, twist in the back, reach to the back corner, looking down, or maybe choose to lift the hip, squeeze the bottom, and then really reach to that back corner. Breathe into your front body. And then coming down when you're ready, sweeping the hand across the face. Well done. We're going to sit back and we're going to take our legs out into a V shape. So you decide how far your legs want to go, completely up to you. This might be one where if you tend to sit here and you tend to sit on the back of your sit bones and then you try and come forwards into a forward fold, you're never going to get there because you just haven't got the tilt on the pelvis. So you want to lift your sit bones up, place them back a little bit, so we're right on the top of the sit bones, even if that means softening your knees. So this might be where you pop a little cushion underneath the knees there, flex the feet, toes up to the sky, and if you still struggle, try sitting on a little block. So right up on those sit bones. So we're here, inhale, and then as you exhale, think of tilting from the pelvis. So we're not rounding the back, we're finding that hinge from the hips, coming forwards. I used to find this really, really hard. Slowly I'm getting better. So we'll bring the hands forwards, keeping a long belly, heart lifted, and just easing yourself forwards. It's quite nice to just wriggle out the toes occasionally, maybe move the ankles, sometimes that releases something in the pelvis. Breathing gently there. Now if you are someone who gets into this position, your legs are really wide and your belly is flat on the floor, just have a little check in, see if you can flex your ankles and check your toes are facing up towards the sky so they're not rolling in, and then maybe lift yourself just a little bit off the floor so you're not relaxing into it, you're building a little bit of strength. So you're not collapsing on the floor, just lift through your belly, lift your chest a little bit and reach your arms forwards so you're working on a little bit of strength. Okay, so let's close the eyes, let's enjoy 3 more breaths. You might be able to hinge forwards a little bit more as you breathe out. Try not to get frustrated with yourself or with your body. Let go of any sense of competition. Just find that place that feels good and breathe into it. Okay, so when you feel ready, let's roll yourself up. Roll up, walk the hands up. Brilliant. Let's get get rid of that little rolled up blanket, and now we're going to venture into a pigeon pose. Before we get there, we're going to come into deer pose as a setup, or a lower version if you prefer. So if you take your right knee out to the side, keep your heel sort of tucked in a little bit here, and you're going to send your left leg round the back. So it's like a mini pigeon pose, left leg bent. So from here, turn your body, breathe in. So you've got one hand either side of the right leg. You can just stay there, or you can walk yourself forwards. So maybe here is good, maybe on the forearm is good, keeping the neck long, slightly pushing the elbows down into the ground so we're not slumping or letting the head hang. We're active through the elbows and through the shoulders, and the neck is in line. If you're a little more flexible here, you might be reaching the arms forwards, maybe placing your forehead to the ground or onto a little block, or just hovering the head. So if that is good for you today, stay there. If you fancy venturing into pigeon pose, you're going to lengthen your left leg along the ground, turn your toenails towards the ground, and feel this left hip drawing towards your right heel. So some of you will get there, that right buttock will stay on the ground if you're super open in the hips, and you'll be able to turn all the way around and get really square over that front leg. Some of you will come up and your bottom will lift. That's fine as long as your front knee feels comfortable, but if you do want to, use that little blanket and use it as a little wedge underneath your bottom on that side. So from here you can stay there, or take a breath in, and then as you breathe out we come down onto the forearms. So again, little push into the elbows, nice long neck. So we're aiming for a flat sacrum. So we're not rolling one way or the other. In deer pose, you will roll slightly back. But in this pigeon pose, we want a nice flat pelvis. You might be here, or some of you might want to reach forwards. Okay, 5 breaths here. You can always stack your hands, pop your forehead onto your hands, that feels good. Or you can stack your fists, or if you've got a block, you can pop that underneath your forehead as well. So whatever feels good. Breathe into those stretching sensations through the hip, through the buttock. You don't have to be completely still. Some of you might want to just very gently rock side to side. Always being very mindful of moving slowly and really feeling into the sensations. Last breath. Let's lift the head. Let's slide the hands back underneath the shoulders. Well done. So we're just going to sit back. So careful of that back knee, sit yourself back, and then we'll come round to the other side. So tuck the left foot in. So you want your knee about in line with your hip, and then send your right leg round the back. So you decide whether you're coming into this little deer pose, a lower version. Inhale, chest turning towards the left leg, coming on down onto your forearms, pressing the elbows down, or you might reach forward, you might even use a little block, pop your forehead onto the block. So I can feel quite a good glute stretch there, right into the deep glutes. Or you can come on up, maybe extend that right leg, turn your 5 toes towards the floor, those toenails towards the floor. This right hip will come towards the left heel. You might stay there, buttock on the left might stay down, or it might lift off and you might want to pop that little wedge underneath your bottom. Checking in the front knee feels comfortable. Inhale, and then exhale, come on back down when you're ready. On the forearms, maybe one hand on top of the other, forehead down, or maybe a block. Loads of different options. You can just play about, see what feels good. Oh, this is nice. Okay, let's take 5 breaths. Maybe using your slightly longer out breath, you can stay still, or you can just gently wriggle mindfully into the hips. Last breath. Slowly lifting the head, walking the hands back in underneath the shoulders. Well done. So we're going to sit back. Let's lengthen the legs out. Just give them a little wobble out again. And then we're going to come down onto our backs just for a couple of postures on the back. So let's come on around. And then we'll lie down. And then we're going to take the right leg up and then place the outer ankle bone onto your left thigh. So I'll do it slightly at the diagonal so you can see me. So right leg over the top. And then you can just stay here and gently press your right thigh away from your belly if you want to. Or if you want to make it a little bit harder, we'll reach behind the back of the thigh and we'll draw the legs up into the belly a little bit more. So it's a little bit of a variation of a pigeon pose really. So breathing gently. And then carefully placing the foot to the floor, taking the arms out to the side in line with your shoulders. And then you're going to draw that right knee just slightly more towards your belly. Slide your foot away so your outer ankle bone is onto the outside of your left knee. Inhale, and then as you exhale, draw your legs over to the right. So you're using that foot to draw your left leg over. So now we start to stretch into the front of the hip here, a little bit into the IT band around the side of the thigh. Shoulder blades anchored to the ground. Just take a moment to breathe there. Keep both ankles flexed. That will keep the knees in good alignment. And then we'll lift up in the centre and we'll just do that on the other side. So place the right foot to the floor and then lift the left leg and place the outer ankle bone onto your right thigh. Option 1, push your thigh away from your belly, or hold the back of the right thigh and then keep the shoulders and the head back down. Top foot flexed, knee open. Probably feels very different from one side to the other. So on this side I'm feeling more of an inner thigh stretch, on the other side it was definitely more glute. Breathe, breathe. Lovely, let's place the right foot to the floor and then we'll just turn the left knee towards you a little bit. Slide your foot away, so you use the outer ankle bone to draw your right leg over. So you get that lovely stretching through the right hip. Shoulder blades connected to the ground. Perfect. When you feel ready, coming back up into the centre, place the feet down, and then we'll draw the knees up into the chest, place the soles of the feet together, let the knees open, and then roll up. Catch hold of the ankles, press your knees open, shoulder blades down. Breathe gently. Fantastic. So we're going to do a half happy baby pose to finish. Let's draw our knees towards each other. Hands come onto the shins. Let your right leg slide away from you. Don't worry if you're using the other leg, doesn't matter. Right leg sliding away from you. And then we'll extend the left leg up. And then from there, we're just going to let the knee come open towards the shoulder. So it goes out towards the diagonal. Flex your ankle, comes around the side. You can just keep hold of the back of the thigh here, avoiding holding onto the back of the knee. Or you might want to reach up with the left hand onto the sole of the foot, or even round the side. So whichever feels good. Be really careful with that hamstring, it can be quite intense. So just breathing gently there. Letting go of the foot, letting the knee come in, pop the foot down, and then we'll take the right leg up, the left leg extending, give that leg a little hug. So we're going to send the knee towards the shoulder, flexing the foot, maybe just stay there, hug the leg in, or maybe hold on to the foot using the right hand. I always like to keep the hand on the back of the thigh, gives me a little bit of support. So breathe there, breathe there. Last breath. I'm going to do another sneaky one. We're going to pop in a bridge pose just to finish. I feel like that's what we need. So we're going to bend the knee, draw the heel towards the bottom, place the foot down, slide your other foot back, feet to hip width, heels quite tucked in, hands down by the side of the body, take a breath in, and then as you breathe out, draw the feet down into the ground, push into the ground, draw the hips up, climb up onto your shoulder blades so we're off the neck, interlace your hands underneath you if you can. Don't worry if you can't, just keep your hands on the floor. Ground your big toes, so you feel those inner thighs switching on. Squeeze your bottom so we really start to open out the front of the hips, really opening out into the hip flexors. Okay, 3 breaths here. Filling up the belly, filling up the heart space. When you're ready, slide those hands out, untuck your shoulder blades a little bit, roll down through the back, hug the knees. Perfect. Cross those ankles. Let's do a little roll up in the middle. Ooh, brilliant. And then round we come. So hopefully that's helped to release the hips a little bit, giving you some stretches that you can do to maybe release or relieve the hips after lots of sitting or standing or new exercise, or maybe just if that's a place where you hold your tension. Quite a lot of us do hold our stress and our emotions in the hips, so it's really beneficial to give them a nice stretch out and release them. So thank you for joining me. Namaste.